Hey, g'day everyone, Scarvig here with the pre-wipe patch notes. We might as well jump straight into it. There's plenty to go over. I'm going to try and do it in a fairly short space of time. With the new content, we are looking at a new island that they've created. So rather than the islands that they've been working around with in the past and just moving them around here and there, they have created their own new island located in H9, I9, J9 and K9. These are high heat islands. So they're a desert island with very, very high heat. The creatures have higher base levels. I believe it's the crocs that are probably going to be the first ones that get the higher levels. They're going to see how they go, and if it works out well, then obviously they'll implement the higher levels with other creatures as it goes. It is a lawless claim island. They've created a new central waters free port called Tortuga, and that actually is outside of the Rookie Cove. So there's actually 4 different portals within the central waters that will take you to a dedicated Freeport within the central waters, so that people can go and get their seeds, their crews, and everything else that was kind of missing where you had to travel off into South America and whatever else to try and find the Freeport. Other than that, they have the Tramp Freighter. This new ship is a cargo hauler, so the idea is that it will carry more than the other ships and still retain a good speed. At the moment, the ship isn't really in the game, so you can't actually build them just straight up, but the blueprints will currently be located in Flotsam and Shipwrecks. And then the actual building of the freighter will come within the next patch. So, hopefully I can rattle these off in a fairly short order. We're now on to the bug fixes. Alright, let's see what we got. It is incorrectly picking up insect meat with tames, schooners and the raft from disappearing from the small shipyard, oxygen not working correctly underwater, returning of ships in unintended ways, sails being up upon gridding within PvE, treasure maps taking you to inaccessible grids, shoulder tames not working correctly after bed travel, incorrect durability on a medkit, the medkit affecting character models unintentionally, spoil times not working correctly, resources are generating incorrectly in damned altars, submarines were being stored incorrectly, there were unintended underwater visibility range on ships, an issue with the zipline sending players in unintended directions, modular ship sailing behaviour adjusted across the board, incorrect resource amounts when replacing modules, damned smithy icon was incorrect, ships being lost when attempting to board the central moor, blueprint modular ships losing their sails, that's a nice one, items in players' hotbars disappearing after bed travel, players losing control while repairing modular ships and bordering simultaneously, markers not being able to be placed correctly, trade path between I1 and E5, issues with tax rate changing when owning players changing servers. I'm guessing that's changing grids. Or I suppose it could be changing servers if you change from maybe like PvP to PvE or NA to EU. The Songstone was not placeable. Restoring defaults on options would reset multiple menus. A player would be taxed by their own sea fort. Structures built from the damn smithy had incorrect damage calculations. Outside of the fixes, we've got some miscellaneous changes that they've done along the way. Probably one of the biggest one that actually goes with this patch that I think a lot of people were interested to see is that the gold cost has been removed from the base version of every single ship. Keyword there being the base version of every ship. I think higher level ships may still cost some gold. The scaffolding for the broadsider in the shipyard is now correct. Scaffolding for the cog in the basic and advanced shipyard is correct. The location of transient nodes now changed correctly on weekly. The cooldowns for Repair, Fiend and Rally the Troops will now display correctly. Ships of the Damned will now return to their original location upon losing their target. And that was a big change I remember seeing that was coming. So yeah, if a Ship of the Damned would sometimes get stuck on portals, or they would be sitting on the edge of maps as you change grids into them. So when the Ships of the Damned lose what they were chasing, they'll actually go back to their spawn point. So that's a big one, that one. Another big one was treasure maps no longer have a spoil time. The emergency ladders on the modular ships, Cog, Carrack, Harrier and Kraken, now work as intended. The smithy now has 300 items instead of 150, so that's pretty cool. Probably to do with the fact we need more gold for certain items by the looks of that. Gold has been added as a base cost to the shipyards, so this goes hand in hand with the fact that the ships are now free from gold cost. The gold is now placed onto the shipyards, and when I had a look at this earlier, the basic shipyard is free. However, it's 500 gold for the small, 1,000 gold for the advanced, and 9,999 for the large shipyard. and once you've built it, all the ships within it are free to build in terms of gold. Cosmetic polish to the skills for clarity and uniformity. Loot tables for blueprints in maps have been adjusted to be more in line with other drop sources. A very long-winded statement. Possibly they've just balanced that so that, you know, if you get blueprints, or if you get maps in the Rookie Cove, you're going to get blueprints that are relevant to the Rookie Cove, and so on and so forth. Or it could even be that, you know, maps are in line with what you're going to get from Flotsam, which is in line with what you're going to get from ships, so on and so forth, so that you don't get... it makes sense for where you're getting them. It'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. The cooking pot, grill, and preserving bag can now only store items needed for its use. That's actually a really cool one. So if you've got all this food in your inventory and you just go add all, it will only add the items that can actually be used by the grill or the preserving bag. Pretty cool. Updating multiple item descriptions and names for spilling errors. Certain damned altars will no longer be floating mid-air, and fixed instances which resetting options to default would affect all options instead of a set a player was currently looking at. Now, while this next section is only short, it's been really good to see this one come in. For Xbox only, they've removed the overworld map as it was causing visibility issues in single player. Then they fixed issues where large islands would cause Xbox players to crash. It'll be interesting to see if that helps a lot of the players actually keep online. I had heard that a number of players, they'd try and avoid the islands as they were sailing through, especially big islands, because they would crash as they went past those bigger islands. So that might at least get the players on, and that keep them on for a little bit longer, although there's other issues with Xbox that certainly need to be fixed as well. But there's at least one there for now. Alright, lastly we have some known issues to go through. The scale of the Wonder Island is inaccurate, so I already did a previous video on the Wonders, so feel free to look that up. Discovery zones for Wonder Islands are inaccurate. The crude tool is removed from the player's craftable after a character respec. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Island selection in A4 to D4 is not working as intended. There is inaccurate, outdated text in the server selection menu. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the... Older players have the ability to spawn into other zones based on a specific date. That's going to need to be updated with the new one. I wonder if we'll still be allowed to spawn into the central waters early, like they made it with the last one. Quest markers for the lower left Africa Golden Age Ruin is incorrect. G9. Destroying shipyards will give no resources. Tax rates are not being set correctly. Known issues pertaining to the previous list have been omitted because they're planning on creating a public list of issue tracking, which is actually going to be fantastic when we get that too, because they've got like the known issues chat channel within the official Discord, and if they end up putting up like an issue tracker there, the other thing that would be lovely to see is a roadmap. Not necessarily something that's a fixed roadmap, but rather I guess I've seen in other games where they have like a Trello and they actually show these are the current features that they're working on, and so people get a little bit of an insight into what's going on. And you don't have to put everything in there, because I know they like to have a little bit of something that's secret to give people, you know, something to, you know, when they log into the game, a little bit of a surprise. But at least some of the more public things that they're working on, they could have like that Trello list that I've seen in other games where it shows, yeah, here's the things that are coming up, and people can go, oh wow, that looks really good. I'm looking forward to that one. Hopefully we'll see that in the next one. Or next patch. Now, pertaining to that next patch, they have actually said that the next patch coming is expected to focus on bug fixing and optimization so that they can flesh out the next steps of expanding the Atlas map, because they were talking of going from an 11 by 11 map to a 13 by 13. Not quite the 15 by 15 original, but 11 by 11 moving up to 13 by 13, with bug fixes and optimization being the focus. Which sounds bloody brilliant, because I think a lot of people want them to focus on bug fixes and optimization right now. Because, yeah, we don't really need too many more features. And they've even said that they want to get the server stability and the ships fixed, so that once they're all working, they can actually work on even just making the modular ships more customizable and better looking. And that's all stuff that I really want them to get onto, but they obviously need to do this pre-work before they can even get to that. So hopefully after this wipe, it'll be fun, we'll be able to get in, and then the following patch with optimization, hopefully that'll bring a lot of things that will help a lot of people. Anyway, hopefully you found this interesting. I'll see everybody within the servers, if not the official Discord, as I pop in there every now and then. And make sure you check my socials out down in the description. Alright, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.